Hello and welcome to the new episode of Access Up Space Defense and Security Podcast. Today, this episode is very special because we have previously recorded several episodes. I would say a multitude of episodes, primarily with the companies which are the graduate of ESA BIC, not only from ESA BIC Sweden, but even from ESA BIC France and some other ESA BICs as well from Germany too. But we never really had a detailed insight into what ISABIC is, what is their mission, how they help the companies, the startups, how they encourage in general the civilians, as well as the new age entrepreneurs to participate and flourish the space economy. So, without any delay, I would like to introduce the today's topic, that is Innovate, Incubate, Elevate inside ISABIC Czech Republic's mission. So today, to take a deep dive into this topic, we have with us Adela and Veronica. Hi Adela, welcome to the podcast. Hi Veronica, welcome to the podcast, and it's great to have you.
Okay.
On to you, basically, if you can introduce briefly about yourself, each of you, like what brought you into the space industry, how things basically change in your career path, and what basically made you take up this position at Isabik.
Okay, Onkar, it's a pleasure to be here. We are happy to be the first
Yes.
ISABIC in your podcast. I'm Adela, and I'm the incubation manager for the Prague branch of ISABIC. And what brought me into space is that since I was a kid, I was interested in space. I didn't really study anything technical, but um, 2 years ago, I was working in USPA, the European Union Agency for the Space Program. And later I was offered a job for ESA BIC, which was great. And I was really happy to join.
Interesting. On to you,
Um,
Veronica.
Thank you, Omkar, and thanks as well for having us today. Well, my name is Veronica, and I'm the incubation manager of the inner Brno branch of the ESA BIC Czech Republic. I work at the innovation agency GIC, where we support mainly entrepreneurs, but the innovation ecosystem as a whole, I would say. And actually, what brought me to this job, it was quite a coincidence because I was looking for a job. I worked previously at the university as a project support, and I've just seen this position opened, and I was just like, okay, I gotta try this. It's gonna be crazy. They probably they will probably won't
Yeah,
let me in. But I tried my best, and here I am. So, and I love it. So, um, uh,
interesting.
I'm thankful for myself that I'm this crazy.
Yeah, I think that's great to see. The diverse set of individuals. I mean, myself, I'm also not primarily from the space industry, but working towards the defense aviation.
Mhm.
Then I landed up in the space industry. So yeah, coming to our actual point of today, can you provide us a brief introduction about ESABIC, its mission, and what does the business incubation center do to basically help these companies? I mean, like, I have met several companies from Isabic. uh, I know the kind of things that they have told me in terms of encouragement you guys provide, but it would be great if you tell me a brief introduction about Isabic and what all things you do under this umbrella of Isa.
Okay, so maybe I can say, generally,
Yeah.
ESA BICs are in different countries all around Europe,
Yes.
and it's a part of the ESA Commercialization Gateway Initiative, which
Yeah.
is the largest network of incubators supporting the space-related startups in Europe. And they support the startups to kind of survive the death valley and help them to develop their ideas into MVPs or prototypes, and then later go into the market. So no, it's not
Yeah.
only ESA BIC Czech Republic, but all around the Europe. Yeah.
Interesting. And I mean, coming to the primary mission within the European space ecosystem. So, can you tell us briefly about its commercialization mission of ISABIC as well?
Mhm. I will start a bit with the ESA BIC Czech Republic because the ESA BIC in Czech Republic has been established 2016. So actually next year we will celebrate the first decade in almost 10
Nice.
years. Yeah, we have incubated more than 50 startups. So by this point we have quite strong community of startups, and the community is always one of the main benefits that the ESA BIC networks provide, of course. Um, uh,
Yeah.
as the Adela already said, I believe, or as it has been said, we have in Czech Republic we have two branches of the ISABIC in Prague and in Brno. Adela is incubation manager for Prague, and I'm the one for Brno. But we work really closely to support the community more efficiently. And coming
Yeah.
to the ISABIC in general, uh, the ISABIC has actually recently celebrated 20 years from establishing the first incubator. It was in Noordwijk, Netherlands. From that time, more than 1,800 startups have been supported, and the number quickly rises as the number
Wow.
of the ISABICs grow each year.
Yes.
And I think which that declares that the concept works, it is successful, and shout out to ISA for that. And talking
Yeah.
about the talking about ISA, and now I'm getting to the mission because it was the ESA's original motivation, and that is the thing that all of the ESA BICs share actually, and that is first of all to support the commercialization of space technologies, because where is commercialization and the market, there is a quicker development,
Yes.
more efficient solutions, and that is something that Europe really needs to focus on, keeping up with the overall like space race, as we say, in the world.
Yes.
The second part of the
Absolutely.
mission is to support the use of space technology solutions in downstream applications. So, for example, in agriculture, transportation, or even climate monitoring, and so on. So, these are the two main missions, I would say.
Interesting. Yeah, I believe Europe has a lot to offer, but I think
Hmm.
since the Copernicus program has kickstarted, I believe that has been a kind of a triggering point
Hmm.
for the ESA BICs to basically, start a wave of commercialization, try to integrate civilians as well within the space ecosystem. Because earlier, I think it was all over the world, it was just the government agencies who were operating the space systems, but now it's the private ecosystem as well. And I think
Hmm.
I mean, like as someone who has come out from outside of Europe and now I have been integrated in the French ecosystem, I always tell people that there's no better example than Europe when it comes to kind of an integrated ecosystem when it comes to commercialization of the space applications. I mean,
Hmm.
there are
Yeah.
commercialization programs that are happening, but not on a multitude level of multiple nations coming together and doing it. This is the
Hmm.
only model in the world that exists, basically. And I think I'm coming to that point now. So, what specific services and support does ESA BIC Czech Republic offer to startups aiming to primarily integrate space technologies into their ventures?
That's a very broad answer, so I will try to cover everything. So basically,
Yes.
we offer equity-free financial support, which is usually 50 or 60,000 euros based on each ISABIC. For us, is 50,000 euros. And now, because actually the Czech Republic ISABIC operator is Czech Invest, so thanks to Czech Invest, we were able to extend the support to additional 130,000 euros, which is great because space requires a lot of money. The technology is expensive. The development is very demanding financially wise. So 50,000 euros is nice money, but usually not enough, for them to really make a huge advancement. And that makes us very proud because
Yes.
the only other ISABIC that is able to afford more money than us is only ISABIC Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have, then
Interesting.
we have, we of course have special budget for the startups to use for mentoring. They can use it however they need. If they need a technical, legal, or business one, they can select the mentor that is most suitable for them. And we also, both Czech Invest and JIC, where Veronica is based, offer workshops for the startups. to help them cover whatever they need to kick off the business. So it can be, how to do patents, how to do accounting, how to do HR and attract the right people, marketing, product development. We are usually trying to gather from the startups what they need and ask them what would be beneficial for them. And even we do some special, space related workshops. We of course offer office spaces because they need to be based somewhere to develop the project.
Yes.
And the really important thing we do is that we help them connected with the space or even non-space companies. We do networking opportunities, events. We do business delegations. USPA is based in Prague, which is also great for our startups that use the Earth observation data because we know people from USPA. So that is a great benefit for the Czech ESA BIC. And since we're such a small country, we are in direct touch with the National Space Delegation. So if the startups need something on a very high level, we are able to get them connected with them as well. And of
Yes.
course, we connect them with the VCs. After they finish the incubation program, the only thing that changes is that we don't give them money anymore, but they still get to go to the workshops, to the events. We help them to get in. We help them to have a knowledge about the follow-up programs, either from ESA or from USPA or some other accelerators. And I would say the thing that the startups say is the best thing about ESA BIC is that they get the stamp that they're, ESA verified. They can use the ESA brand and say they're, startup supported from ESA.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I have heard from a lot of them. I mean, I'd like to even mention the names. Remo Space Systems is one of the customers that we have on our platform, and it's a graduate of ESA BIC Sweden. And we have several other companies which are lining up. I think one of the companies we interviewed, I think Adela, you might be knowing it, last year was Space Manic. I
Mhm.
think excellent companies, I think, which are coming out of ESABIC. There are several other companies which have a little to do with the upstream space market as well,
Mm-hmm.
which deal primarily in the downstream market, which are also incubated in ESTEC, ESABIC, also in Netherlands as well. But yeah, primarily as we're talking about Czech Republic, I was actually a lot of interested into USPA because we, as a podcast hosting and a marketplace platform, a lot of interest is there in USPA. So maybe, I mean, that's a complete different topic in itself, when it comes to discussing something about presence of space industry in Czech Republic, because it's a procurement office and all. So maybe next time I would love to, discuss about USPA with you and the other people from the ISPA agencies as well, because I think that is also something that relates a lot with the ISA BIC and the kind of companies that are coming into the play, the kind of procurement that is happening in the supply chain of the space domain. To proceed ahead with the same thing as you're talking about the hardware technologies and all, how does ISABIC Czech Republic facilitate the transfer of space technologies to non-space market? And can you share some examples of successful projects that have achieved this? I think I just mentioned about the downstream and the upstream. So yeah, please feel free to answer this question in your own manner, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually the technology transfer is usually an interesting topic, and I feel even listening to the use cases of the technology transfer is always
Yeah.
something that just stimulates our imagination and the creativity. So I get the question, and I have two
Yeah.
examples actually. One of
Yeah.
our first company incubated is Festka. They develop bicycles using carbon fiber materials that were originally developed for space applications. They have these bikes that are lightweight and very strong because of the fiber, and they are. I would say they are quite high end, high end like price wise. And actually, rumor has it that even actor Orlando Bloom owns one. So maybe a challenge for the listeners: if you see Orlando on a bike anywhere, look for the logo on it. So
Interesting.
yeah, that's the first technology transfer example. And another attractive example of technology transfer from space within the ESA BIC Czech Republic is InsideArt. It's company that use the space-grade X-ray imagining technology to authenticate paintings. And this technology that has been originally developed for spacecraft component analysis is now helping museum to detect forgeries. So that's another one that is quite interesting, and shows how space innovation can impact in industries even beyond space.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean, for what Veronica has told it, I would like to tell it to our audience as well, who will be listening to this episode, because a lot of non-space people listen to the podcast because they're trying to enter the space industry, either as an entrepreneur or either as a workforce. So what she means is, in a layman's term, I'd like to explain that, X-ray machines, MRI machines were not basically discoveries that were made for the medical sciences. They were actually an instrument to scan the stars in astronomy, radio astrophysics,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how then the technology was transferred. This is what Veronica was trying to say, basically, how from the space domain things come into the non-space domain. Like today, if you see an X-ray machine, no one can imagine that it was not an invention by the medical science, but it was uh, the first frontline innovation by the space industry. So this is what she was trying to say. In case, like, the people from the non-space background who are listening to this episode are not able to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, moving on to the next question. uh, I mean, like, we spoke about some of the collaboration used by NL. So in what ways does ESA Big Czech Republic collaborate with local industries, universities, and research organization to foster innovation in the space sector?
This is an ongoing process. I would say we're always trying to find new ways how to collaborate or get people to know about ISABIC or what we do, because yeah, space might be for a lot of people something unknown and hard to reach. So we collaborate with the most prominent Czech universities. We help to change the mindset that the universities should support creation of spin-offs, because compared to our neighboring countries, the number of spin-offs in Czech Republic is very low, and this is something we would like to fix. So we go to the universities,
Yes.
we do lectures, we go to university fairs, we talk to the students, student associations, we tell them about ISABIC, or that they can work for some of our startups, because we also have an internship program where the students can apply to be an intern in one of the startups and get them, more familiar with space. We also collaborate with the Czech Aerospace Research Center. That's one of the most important and pronounced collaborations we have, where people can test, where the startups can test, because they have special facilities for testing.
Yes.
And maybe really important is that Czech Republic recently is trying to focus on space sector, because we have a reserve astronaut from ESA, Mr. Aleš Svoboda, and we and the government are trying to have this initiative where you have a lot of opportunities, like let's say events or even competitions and so on, that help people to understand that space is something normal, because we have a lot of students that concentrate on, let's say, art faculties and so on, and we would like to see more people studying the technical fields and the medical fields, because that is also related to
Yes.
space. And recently what we had is a great competition for kids from 13 to 18 to apply for a zero-G flight, where they will fly with the reserve astronaut as well. And we're so excited about it. It's happening actually at the end of this month, and we will be there to
Yeah.
watch the zero-G flight, and I'm really looking forward.
Interesting. So I think that's again, this is a point to be noted. So ISA Big Czech Republic is not only fostering the innovation for coming age entrepreneurs, but also for the young leaders who are into going to step into this, domain. maybe 10 years later, because I think the age of 13, 15, it's kind of an age where you, if you get inspired by something, it gets hooked up to you for life. I mean, that can be a life changing moment for you. So that was interesting. I was not aware about this fact, by the way, so that's an interesting note to
It is,
mention
yeah.
about
We
this.
also have a European
Yeah,
Space Education Research Office. They aim for the kids,
yeah,
but as you said, maybe 10 years later, those guys will be applying for ESA BIC, and we already want them to know that we are here to support them.
absolutely. Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you on this fact. Yeah, that's a great thing. I think here in France also we have a Toulouse Space Festival, which is primarily meant for the age group between 8 to 15, actually. And I was surprised to see, because I saw this year only it's happening for the first time, I guess. And it's quite interesting to see that a lot more countries in the European region are actually trying to build this kind of events through which there are like the young leaders which are coming into the play, because they are actually the future of the space and industry. And
Yeah, that's right.
proceeding ahead, yeah, proceeding ahead, little bit going on a bit broader level. So, how does ESA BIC Czech Republic contribute to the broader European space industry, and what unique advantages does its location in the Czech Republic provide to startups, and primarily looking at the successful startups?
Well, for the Czech Republic, it's we are a quite small country, so getting to know each other in the space sector is very easy, which sometimes is advantage,
Yes.
but sometimes it can also be a disadvantage. But generally, Czech Republic has very low unemployment rate, which is good for the companies. We have a good geological position, so it's easy to reach, to Germany, France, or even the eastern part of Europe.
Yes.
But we still keep the, let's say, lower prices. Recently, it's a bit changing, but still the prices are lower compared to the western part of Europe. And
Yes.
the political situation has been very stable here since 1991. And the space environment is really, like, you can see the environment is friendly. Everybody's trying to help each other. Even our startups, they find ways how to collaborate between each other. When they meet, they're like, oh yeah, you're doing this, so maybe we can help and do this testing together. And it makes us so happy to see this, because that's exactly why we're here. And
Yes.
for the space industry, we have Czech Space Week, which is a great opportunity to meet people. We have different events during that week, which aim both for business, also for ESA BIC, or even, let's say the kids, because the education office from ESA is involved as well. So if you have time, Omkar, maybe you should come. It's from 20th to 24th of October this year, and we'll be happy to have you
Definitely.
here. Yeah.
Hmm.
Definitely. Absolutely. I
Great.
think that's a great thing you mentioned about the geological position, because I used to think it was only Strasbourg that is the center of Europe,
Oh.
very frankly speaking.
Well, we heard that a
Yeah,
lot, but no, it's Prague.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you. Looking at the kind of wide variety of innovation that is going on, especially. I mean, I'm based in Strasbourg, but very frankly speaking, in Strasbourg, except the International Space University, and they also have an incubation center now in collaboration with ESA, a small incubation center. But I think the footprint and the vastness is not as huge as what Czech Republic has in terms of experience, in terms of incubation. So I definitely agree with you on this fact, because I used to earlier think that, okay, the reason I started to reside in Strasbourg is because it's very easy to go to Luxembourg, to Zurich, then to Darmstadt, because all at all of these places there is some or the other presence of the space industry in terms of ESA BIC as well. So yeah, that's a great thing. Maybe I should move to Prague maybe in few years.
We'll be happy, let us know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe you will come to the Czech Space Week and then you will just stay in Prague, in the Czech
Yeah,
Republic.
yeah, yeah,
So,
definitely. I'll try to visit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So see you
So yeah,
yeah, in October.
Yes, yes, definitely. I think I'll keep note of this for sure.
Yeah, and we can do actually,
Yeah, so
we can do the second part
hmm.
of the on the podcast. We can do,
Absolutely.
continue.
I'd be really happy because I think,
Yeah.
the more we speak, I think the more people will get to know, and the more the quality
Hmm.
of innovation and the kind of people that will enter
Hmm.
will be, impactful actually. Because, there have been several companies who actually listened to my podcast and then they got to know, okay, there is this kind of programs which are existing in Europe. A lot of people were not knowing, who are from the non-space background, and then when they came here to study from United States to Europe, then they started exploring it. So I was happy to see that, the more we speak about this, the more we tell, the more people will get to know about the
Hmm.
initiatives. So yeah, that's
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 great.
that's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we are at the final part of the episode. So from your perspective, I mean, any of you can answer this question, of course. So could you please discuss the application process for startups interested in joining ESA BIC Czech Republic, and are there any key criterias or qualities you look for in terms of, prospective incubators?
Hmm. This is actually like the general rule for all the ISABICs, that startups that can be accepted for incubation has to meet three main criteria. The first one is the company is less than 5 years old, or they don't have to be established yet, but by the start of the
Yeah.
incubation, they establish the company. The second criteria is to be registered in the Czech Republic, which applies, for the Czech Republic, for the ISABIC Czech Republic. And the third one is to have a clear space connection. These are the three main criteria,
Yeah.
although I would say it is not all what we look for, because we look for ideas that are, innovative, scalable, and feasible. We want the companies or the applicant to show strong business potential, because sometimes the applicants, they perceive the idea beneficial because they just love the technology, and they are just so much
Yes.
into their field, which is great, because this is the strength that moves them forward and be excited about it. But they actually have to show the strong use case and the customers willing to pay for that product. So that is
Yes.
crucial for the value proposition of the product, actually. When it comes to the application process, that involves documents including business plan, incubation proposal, and cover letter. Uh, it is followed by formal check and final presentation and Q&A by the evaluation board. In case they get accepted, the startup has access to funding, mentoring, networking opportunities, and all the other benefits we already covered. And for the whole process, from writing the proposal to going through the incubation, me and Adela, we as the incubation managers are here to support the startups, and we are here to help.
Yeah, so exactly.
Interesting.
If you're interested in applying to ESA BIC, you can visit our web esa-bic.cz, go to the application, fill in the first step, or contact me and or Veronica directly. And yeah, we're really happy to help and discuss the ideas.
Hmm. And you can, of
Absolutely.
course, follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram, and you can find us everywhere. And you can get to know
Yes.
more about our startups and about their successes, which we usually share with the community.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I'll be adding the links of Isabic and your social media handles as well
Hmm.
below the description section of the uh, podcast episode, so that people can just look at the episode and get redirected to your
Yes.
Isabic hub on the website. Yeah.
Thanks for
So
the.
yeah,
Great.
that was a great, that was a great insight, I would say. First time, I mean,
Hmm.
we have been running this podcast since past 3.5 years,
Hmm.
but this is the first time. I mean, like, we had a lot of companies from Isabic came on the podcast, but this is the first time and Isavik has came on the podcast.
Oh,
So I'm really happy to basically have the mastermind behind all this company's success on the podcast. So
Omkar, we
yeah,
are honored
yeah.
to be the first one.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So yeah, I think we'll keep in touch, and I hope to record a few more episodes in the future with you, because I think there is a lot to explore when it comes to not only just ESABIC, but in general the space industry and the space technology and the space applications presence in Czech Republic, because there is a lot to explore. So hope to see you in the future episodes as well. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Omkar.
Definitely.
Take
Thank
care.
you, and see you in Prague, for the Czech Space Week.
Absolutely, yeah, yes.
Okay.